Hari Om. Start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhattvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are starting a new series from today on, and we are planning to take Vedanta Sangraha. This is a textbook written by Sri Ramaraya Kavi, and I just got it from the Chinmaya Mission International Foundation. It's a book written by the Vedanta Sangraha of Ramaraya Kavi with the essentials of Vedanta and with a commentary by our Professor R. Balasubramaniam and S. Revati. And when I read the introduction to it, and I was so impressed by the introduction and about Advaita Vedanta he gives, and that motivated me to do a series on why Advaita from a scientist perspective. And that we finished completely. Now we are going to take the text itself of Vedanta Sangraha, and this is written by Sri Ramaraya Kavi. First we will do the invocation sloka of what in the textbook Vedanta Sangraha, and after that we'll give the background of the Master Sri Ramaraya Kavi. So let's do the invocation sloka. Natva Lakshmi Hayagrivaha Natva Lakshmi Hayagrivaha Charanamboruhadvayam Vedanta Sangrahasmabhihi Vedanta Sangrahasmabhihi Kriyate Bala Buddhaye together. Natva Lakshmi Hayagrivaha Charanamboruhadvayam Vedanta Sangrahasmabhihi Kriyate Bala Buddhaye. So this is an invocation by Sri Ramaraya Kavi to Lakshmi Hayagrivaha. So he prostrates Natva, having prostrated to Charanamboruhadvayam, Charana Amboruhadvayam, the feet, the lotus feet or lotus feet of Lakshmi Hayagrivam. And Lakshmi Hayagrivam is the deity of Ramaraya Kavi, and Natva having prostrated, so he has done the prostration before he is undertaking the writing of this text. He says Vedanta Sangraha Asmabhihi, by me. The Vedanta Sangraha, the text by what we are going to take is Vedanta Sangraham, and Kriyate Bala Buddhaye. I am performing Kriyate, I am writing this book for Bala Buddhaye, for beginners, for people who wanted to know a little bit of Vedanta. I am composing this Vedanta Sangraham. Vedanta is the end part of the Vedas, that is Upanishads, and also we said Vedanta, Veda means knowledge, Anta means end, so it is the ultimate knowledge, and Sangraha in a very condensed form, and I am going to Kriyate, I am going to write. And Natva having prostrated to Lakshmi Hayagrivaha. So it's a lotus feet of Lakshmi Hayagriva. So lotus feet is used in Vedanta quite often, and in all the Vedantic knowledge. So lotus stands for the flower that grows in the muddy water, but as it comes out of it, if the flower beautifies, and the leaf that is there in the mud, it doesn't get contaminated by the muddy water, nor the beauty is not lost, even though the surrounding things or looks dirty, but it is beautiful and also beautifies the surrounding too. So essentially it implies two things. One is it is untouched by the environment. So in the same way, a jnani is also untouched by the environment. Environment maybe involves all the people who have no clue on this, yet he beautifies whatever within the environment. So coming from the same background, and by turning your attention to Lakshmi Hayagrivaha, and one beautifies the whole surroundings. So my mind is concentrated not on the environment around it, but I am paying attention to the best that is coming out of the environment, which is Lakshmi Hayagrivaha. It is Hayagrivaha, it is the voice of the hearts as though, and accompanied with Lakshmi. Lakshmi is that which is auspicious. So Lord Vishnu is Vyapakatvat, is all pervading, but we are concentrating on Lakshmi because we cannot see Lord at all. So where is the Lord? You cannot see him because he is all pervading reality. What I can see only is the Lakshmi, his Vibhuti, and without Lakshmi you cannot recognize Narayana. So Ischate Lakshmi Chapatnyo Ahoratre Parshve. So in the Purusha Suktam is defined as he is Lakshmipati. He is a husband of Lakshmi. So that is his ID mark. So if a Lord comes to your house and knocks the door and says, "Who are you?" "I am Vishnu." Says, "How do you know you are Vishnu? You are dressed like that." And nowadays recently we finished the October 31st Halloween. Everybody is dressing all sorts of things. How do I know that where is your ID? So even Lord has to show his ID. And what is his ID? He has to show the Kaustubam where Lakshmi is sitting there. That is his ID. So with the Lakshmi I can recognize Lord. So in this Lakshmi includes the Ashtalakshmis. Everything is auspicious, and through Lakshmi I can reach him. And that's what is Visishta Advaita also, where Lakshmi is a mother and Vishnu is a father. And when you go to Lakshmi, according to the Vaishnavism or Visishta Advaita, you reach Vaikunta, and your body is not conducive for that locality. So you take a river, a bath in the river, and you get sattvic body, and Amma is there, Lakshmi is there, and she will dress you up properly, and then after dressing properly, present it, "Our beta has come back, and please bless him." So it is the mother's recommendation, and after cleaning you up, after dressing, because mother can tolerate any dirty thing, but father he wants complete clean, he doesn't want to touch anything. So mother prepares the child so that it is in a presentable form, and the Lord now, the father takes with love and care. So that is normally we see the same way we go through Lakshmi in order to recognize the Lord. So we need a kataksham, Lakshmi kataksham has to be there, and that's why Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Sri comes first. Sri is Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is a Lakshmi Hayagrivam, and the voice is so loud and clear, it's called Hayagrivaha. So to that I am going to prostrate, Natva, and Charanamboruhadvayam, the lotus feet, the pairs of the lotus feet of the Lord, and having prostrated Natva, Vedanta Sangraha Asmabhihi Kriyate Bala Buddhaye. So I am writing and this work of Vedanta Sangraha for the essence of Vedanta, and I am presenting it for the benefit of the novice or the people who want to learn, the beginners of Vedantic study. So with that prostration, this is Ramaraya Kavi, and just few words about Sri Ramaraya Kavi, and he is essentially from this century. Essentially, there is his date of birth here, and I have written somewhere. So it's 1875. He was born in 1875, and he passed away in 1914. Only he lived for 39 years, just as the Shankara was only for 30 years. And here we have Ramaraya Kavi. He lived only for 39 years, and he's called Abhinava Shankara, the modern Shankara, and he came from, born in close to a village close to the Narsaraopet in Guntur district, and Guntur district is in Andhra Pradesh, and coming from there he grew up, in fact, as he was brought up as a Visishtadvaiti. And it so happened some Visishtadvaita Acharya came, and in between people have studied with him a little bit, and when he encountered the first book of Advaita, Panchadasi text, which we just took and completed, and that is by Sri Vidyaranya Swami, he read that book. Somehow he got hold of it, and when he read it, he was so impressed by it, and he wanted to know more about Advaita, because he had a lot of questions as he grew up as a Visishtadvaitin that could not be answered. And when he opened and studied the Panchadasi text, a lot of his doubts got cleared, and he had a clear understanding of what exactly his Vedanta says, and he read more and more and more, and he has, from after that, at the request of his students, he has written what he understood, and this is one of the texts which is essentially the Vedanta Sangraham. And in addition to that, he has written several other books, and some of the famous ones are Advaita Amrutam, and this is Vedanta Sangraha that we are taking, and Vedanta Tattva Amrutam is another one. And there is the fourth one that is well popular is Shankara Bhashya Vimarsha. Shankara Ashankara. Shankara Bhashya Vimarsha. It is, Ashankara is mostly, that means non-Shankara, that means mostly he is taking the Bhagavan Ramanuja's Sri Bhashya on the Brahma Sutra as well as Bhagavad Gita. So Ramanuja has a commentary, Bhashyam, on both the Bhagavad Gita as well as the Brahma Sutras. And Brahma Sutras, and his introduction to in the Brahma Sutra is very exhaustive, and there he takes the Advaita as a Purvapaksha and criticisms of that. And in this book, the Ramaraya Kavi criticizes the Ramanuja's criticism of the Advaita on the logical grounds. So Shankara Bhashya Vimarsha, the criticism of the Bhashya of Shankara, and Shankara, that means Ramanuja's Sri Bhashya, is all that in that book. It should be very analytical. And Ramaraya Kavi is well known for very precise and also the very extremely analytical. That's why he is called Abhinava Shankara. extreme logical as well as that's why he went through from Visishtadvaita, did not appreciate some of the logic of it, therefore he went through the Advaita. So he had a real background, and in fact it's not similar background to mine, because I also grew up as a Visishtadvaitin and then later exposed to J. Krishnamurti philosophy, then later exposed to the Advaita. So I went through all this process because some of the things were not appealing to my logic also. And after reading this book Vedanta Sangraha by Ramaraya Kavi, it's published by the Chinmaya Mission, International Chinmaya Mission International, and there the introduction was it's a commentary by Professor Balasubramaniam and Revati. And when I read the introduction where Professor Balasubramaniam gives an introduction of Advaita Vedanta there, from his perspective, some of the essential aspects of it, when I read that, I felt the urge to talk on why Advaita, and from my perspective, that is coming from a science background, I gave the talks which are on why Advaita, a perspective of a scientist, which we did until yesterday. So now we are taking the full text of the Vedanta Sangraha of Ramaraya Kavi. So we covered the first, the invocation sloka, and then we will continue. And as we said, this is very analytical and crisp also. So we will see how it goes. So let's talk about the first chapter. First chapter deals with Dusya Prapancham. Dusya Prapancham means the Prapancham, the world that it is seen. So he is talking about two things: the world that is seen. So that means the what I see is the total world. So through what I can see through Drishyam, Drishyam means where sense input is there, and through sense input other type of knowledge of the world. So here we are going to talk about Drishya Prapancham, the validity of the world. And as you see, we'll go through in the first, he summarizes the essence of it, and this chapter is essentially deals with the world, Jagat, and how did the world come into picture, and what is the source, and what's my relation to the world. So that is essentially essence of it. Let's do this is a prose type of text, so we will read slow by slow. Druk drusyam cha iti, druk drusyam cha iti, dvau padartho, imau eva chit achit iti, imau eva chit achit iti, jnanam jadam iti cha, vyavaharanti swaprakashatve sati svetara sarva avabhasakatvam druso lakshanam jneyatvam drusyasya lakshanam. So let's read together. Druk drusyam iti dvau padartho, imau eva chit achit iti, jnanam jadam iti cha vyavaharanti, swaprakashatve sati svetara sarva avbhasakatvam druso lakshanam jneyatvam drusyasya lakshanam. Okay, here he is summarizing the essence of the world right now. So, that there is a world. How do you know? I can see. So here starts with that. Druk drishyam ichicha dvau padartho. So there are padartho, there are two entities. You can call it padartham, is normally matter, but here two entities. One is druk drishyam and iti dvau, two Dvau, it is two padartha, two entities. What are they? Druk and Drusyam. Druk means the one who is a seer. Drusyam, that which is seen. So, seer and seen as two entities that we are familiar with. So, essentially, the Prapancham is classified, starts with, there are two things in this universe. One is a seer and the seen. And the seen includes seeing, hearing, touching, all the sense objects into the picture. All that is included in the seen. Druk is the seer, hearer, toucher, all that are included in the druk. So perceiver and perceived, you can say. So the entity who is conscious of the world. So druk and drusyamiti is going to explain anyway. Imau eva and imau eva. These things alone are also called chit achit. Chit is a conscious entity and achit is unconscious entity, iti. So it's also, you can call also druk drusyam, seer or knower, known, or seer seen or knower known. And imau, these two are considered as chit and achit also, iti. Cha means it's also called the conscious entity and unconscious entity, chit achit, iti. And also jnanam jadam iti cha. Now he is going to next step and says it is also called jnanam. Jnanam is a knowledge and jadam, inert. So knowledge and inert here then doesn't look like opposite things, but jnanam here is consciousness and unconscious entity. So this is the same as chit and achit. Also, from the knowledge point, knowledge and the opposite is part of the ignorance also. So, jnanam jadam iti cha vyavaharanti. It is existing in these forms, and you can call it a seer seeing or chit achit or the jnanam jadam. So two pairs, the names are provided with three different categories. Iti vyavaharanti. Then he is taking each one now. Swaprakashatve sati. So he is looking at the first part, chit. Chit is the conscious entity, that knower, and knower is swaprakashatve sati, even though being as self-luminous entity, swaprakasham, self-luminous entity, and which is also self-conscious entity, you can say, and sati, svetara sarva avabhasakatvam drishyo lakshanam. So itara sarva avabhasakatvam. Not only he knows himself, and also says, so itara sarva avabhasa, all other things, sarva means everything else. So it other than him now is including everything else. Sarvam avabhasakatvam, illuminating or being conscious of, awareness of, and drusho lakshanam. This is the nature of druk lakshanam. Drusho means the seer lakshanam. It is the indicatory definition. Lakshanam is lakshartham. It is what that is being pointed out. You say, who is that druk? Who is a knower? His knower is, number one, swaprakashatvam, is self-illuminating or self-conscious entity, and also is conscious of other entities in the whole universe. So that's why he is called the drusho lakshanam. He is the knower of all these things. He is called druk. He is a knower or the seer and perceiver and other unconscious entity and also knowledgeable entity. And jneyatvam drusyasya lakshanam. So what is the definition for the known? Because knower, known, that's how he starts, and other things are the synonyms that he provided. And here jneyatvam drusyasya lakshanam. So jneyatvam is the knowability, is the drusyasya lakshanam. It is the definition of the known. So knowability is a definition for known, and knowing is a definition for the druk. So he has provided there are only two things in this universe. One is the seer and the seen, or knower and the known, and or the conscious entity and unconscious entity. These are all, he said, they're all synonyms, and so you can call it knower known or conscious and unconscious entities, and the seer and seen all are referring to only dvopadartha, only two entities here, and everything else is everything else is jadam, and the knower is swaprakasham. He knows himself by himself. So he is a known entity also, and also self-luminous entity. We'll cover that, what it means. And swa itara, and also he knows everything else also, whatever knowable entities, and the knowable entity is called drishyam. So jneyatvam, knowability is the property of the seen, because without seeability, then I cannot see it. So since it is seen, therefore it has seeability. So jneyatvam drishyasya lakshanam, and is the definition of the drishyam. So let's go into more details of this verse, of this you call it verse of this paragraph, first paragraph, and it says chit achit are the two entities. So here I can see that his background coming from the Visishta Advaita, they define like this way. It says there are two entities, chit achit, and then take the achit is the world. That's how they define. And the chit is again, they have two quantities, Atma and Paramatma. Jivatma and Paramatma. They differentiate chit into further two categories. Here we don't do it in Advaita, but in the Visishta Advaita, coming from, they start with chit, achit as two, and from chit there is a two. One is Jivatma and Paramatma. So Atma is of the nature of consciousness, and Jiva is a tiny, and we said if you take the head of a hair, cut into 100 parts, and take that one part of that and cut further into 100 parts, and that is the size of Atma for them. So whereas Paramatma is Brahman, so is infinite. So these are the two disparities in the definition according to the Visishta Advaita. So seer, seen, so the word chit achit, that is familiar, it comes coming from the Visishta Advaita background. It says eva, there are only two, chit and achit, and iti, and they are also synonyms he put in terms of jadam and all that. So this is essentially the simple statements here, and he further says essentially the knowability is the property of the achit, and knowingness is the property of the chit. So chit has a knowledge, and he has a capacity to know also. So he illumines everything, means he can know everything else, and besides knowing himself, he can know other things also, and that's a definition of a chit. Whereas the achit is that does not know by itself, but it has a capacity of knowability. That means others, a chit can know it, and that's what is the definition of the entity. If it is something is there, then if it is not a knowability, then it cannot be proved its existence, and that's we'll see as we go along. Now the question is, the definition of a knowable object is there are two things in this world, because prapancham is the total world involves only two things. One is the druk and drishyam, and the drishyam is the whole world that I see, that is whole jagat, and jagat comes under drishyam, that is the objective world, and the knower of that is essentially the subject. So essentially what he says, there are only two things, subject and object, and I am the subject and everything else is objects, and there is nothing else there, only two. What about the other guy? Other guy is, from my point, other guy is also comes under drishyam only, because I can only see his form, I can see his talking, I can hear, all those things are there. So I am the essence of the seer, and that is seen. So everything is nothing but subject-object duality, and subject is conscious entity and object is knowable entity, inert entity. So one is the jnanam and jadam. One is conscious entity, the unconscious entity, and also I am is swaprakasham. So I don't cannot be known by anything else. Do I come under known or unknown? It comes under, do I know myself, or do I become a part of drishyam or part of druk? So I don't know if you understand what I mean. I am being a subject, cannot be objectified for me to perceive it. That's what it means. Subject, I am, cannot be objectified. But is it a subject? Is a subject itself? How do I know that I am there? I don't know. I don't need to know I am, because I know I am there even if you prove that I am not there. So I am swaprakasham. That means I am self-illuminating. I am self-conscious entity. I don't become an object for my own knowledge, because I am the very subject. And I don't need to know, because I am always a knowledge. That's what he called it, swaprakashatvam. And everything else comes under known things, and therefore they are jadam. So there are object things are jadam. Now there is no conscious entity anywhere else as far as I am concerned. From my reference, I am the only subject in the world, and it's called also ekajivavada. So I am the only subject, and everything else is objectified, and everything else becomes the objectability, knowability, transactability, all things that Gaudapada also talks about in the Vaidhatya Prakaranam. So we go into a little bit detail more, and then come back when we do the next talk. We'll stop here with this introduction. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.